going on, family? Sif checking in, and everyone, we need to talk about what went down between the Toronto Raptors and Detroit Pistons, because in this game, since the Raptors lost, not only did we get a major problem for the Raptors that appeared in this game, but also we got a positive. So we'll talk about all of that and more in our breakdown of this game. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, since the Raptors lost, we gotta shout out the Detroit Pistons. And man, oh man, what a game they played against us. Seriously, it's really refreshing as a basketball fan to see a professional team play their style of basketball. And for the Detroit Pistons, man, they really knew what needed to be done in this game. What I mean is that in this game for the Detroit Pistons, they really tapped into their strengths and took advantage of all the weaknesses that the Raptors gave them throughout the whole game and made the most of all of their opportunities. Whether that be Cade Cunningham making his mid-range shots and making flashy assists, whether that be Tim Hardaway Jr. making those corner threes, or whether that be the rest of the team getting scrappy and getting easy points, especially in the paint. All of the Pistons players really understood what needed to be done in this game, and quite frankly with you all, based on last year's season with them having the worst season or something like that, coming into this season they knew that they had to change the narrative, and that's exactly what they did in this game, because man, oh man, did they have something to prove, and they got it done against the Raptors. So shout out to them for that, and as things stand, the future really looks bright for this club because they are really learning from their past experiences and they're making the most of every opportunity. Now, speaking of past opportunities, do you want to guess which team didn't really take advantage of their opportunities that were provided in this game? You guessed it, the Toronto Raptors. And man, oh man, is this something to be very concerned about, because this topic of not taking advantage of your opportunities leads me to the major concern that I have for the Raptors, which is, can someone tell me where our big three was in this game? What I mean is Barbecue, aka Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, and RJ Barrett, because these three people that I mentioned are a very important factor for the Raptors, especially on the offensive and defensive end. And in this game, they were basically non-existent. Now granted, throughout the whole game, right, they did have some moments individually where they knocked the three, did a fadeaway or drive to the lane. But as a collective, especially from an energy standpoint, they were basically non-existent. In fact, it was so crazy that without the bench play and the things that they did, man, this game could have went even worse than it did. And we could have had a situation like we did with the Oklahoma City where we just got steamrolled by them. But that is very concerning because, for one thing, two of these three people that I mentioned, being Emmanuel Quickley and Scotty Barnes, recently, as I told in the previous videos on my channel, we have paid a huge amount of money for these guys. And it's about time we get a return on our investment for them, because from what we saw in this game, man, I wouldn't say that we are fully doubted them. At least I haven't fully doubted them in terms of their skills and abilities and things of that nature. However, if they continue to perform like this in the coming games, especially to end this regular season, man, going into next season is going to be very tough for them to really plead their case to make me as well as other Raptors fans believe that they still got that energy in them. Because even though the Raptors are a team of development this year, we are still expecting steady progress, and we cannot afford to have these up and down moments, especially when we are almost at the midway of our season. So to fix this, I would suggest Emmanuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes, and RJ Barrett to have deep media day sessions. What I mean is they need to look at their film very carefully and analyze their game and the game that they play alongside each other very carefully and understand each other's plays to the T, because at the very worst scenario, those three need to be able to carry that offense. And I know it's asking a lot, especially out of them, but hey, that's what comes with being a cornerstone for this team. So there's going to be more responsibility placed on you, and as such, we expect you to deliver on all fronts, especially when you're on the court. So hopefully they understand this, or one of the Raptors management preaches this to them, because coming against Golden State and anyone else that we're facing, it's not going to look good if they continue to play like this. And sooner rather than later, if they play like how they played against Detroit, the fans are going to get frustrated at them, and it's going to really affect how they perform both in their future and from a career standpoint as well. So hopefully Scottie Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, and RJ Barrett really understands what's going on here, and they really make the necessary adjustments to fix their game as soon as possible, because what we saw against the Detroit Pistons just wasn't cutting it. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Now, with the major concerns for the Raptors coming out of this game out of the way, let's shout out the Raptors bench in this game, because honestly, if you told me that they were going to be the main reason that the Raptors make this a competitive game, I wouldn't really blame you, because they have been performing, I wouldn't say the best so far, but they have made their presence known up to this point. And tonight as well, they really made a statement, because without their contributions, as I said earlier in this video, it really could have been a very different story for the Raptors coming into the next day. And obviously, a lot of these people are on expiring contracts, such as Chris Boucher, Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and anyone else that's a veteran. However, you can really tell from experience and energy standpoint just how much they wanted to win this game. And credit once again to Chris Boucher and Jamal Shead, because coming into this game, they both had something to prove, and they wanted the Raptors team to know just how serious they are about winning and playing Raptor style basketball. And you saw that through the types of shots and how much they were communicating on the team, especially when they were on the court and the bench. And that is greatly noticed and appreciated, because man, oh man, communication is key for the Raptors, and a lack of it really spells trouble, especially as we get down to the fourth quarters of any game, because that is when the game is the tightest and we need to be sound on all our offensive and defensive schemes. So shout out to both of them for understanding the assignment and doing everything in their power to get the job done. And hopefully the rest of the Raptors team, more specifically the starters, being Scottie Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, and the rest of the starting team, Grady Dick and Jakob Poeltl, learn from the bench and really step up their game in the games to come. So yeah, that wraps up my thoughts on this game between the Toronto Raptors and Detroit Pistons, and I'd love to know what you all thought about this game as well. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you feel as frustrated as I was about this game? And do you think that I criticized the player too much or didn't criticize the player enough, especially with the way the Toronto Raptors performed in this game? Or anything else? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to talk to you all about it. And if you are interested on what else the Raptors did this season, as well as their wins and losses and how I felt about it, check out this playlist up here. It's a great watch, and you'll definitely know more about the Raptors through it. And with that being said, until the next video, I hope you all continue to be amazing. Take care, everyone.